Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome to the brand new office. You guys are gonna get a tour of that when it's a bit more set up. I still have a lot of work to do. Today we are gonna be talking about another Disney Channel original movie. Last time we talked about one, we covered Smart House, one of my favorites, and a lot of people requested that I cover the 13th Year. Instead of talking about this one alone, I've enlisted the help of my good friend and fellow Disney Channel original movie aficionado, Luke Sizemore, aka Youngtown. Let's not waste any time, and let's start talking about the 13th Year.
It's so weird in my 13th year.
So the 13th Year was a DCOM made in 1999. I watched it on my VHS copy. Luke, you watched it on YouTube.
Yes, you can rent all the DCOMs on YouTube.
That means you didn't know that the intro of the VHS actually contains a trailer for the 13th Year. So you actually get a nice little summary before you watch the movie. It's like, hey, come watch the 13th Year.
Why?
I don't know.
It's not your typical coming-of-age tale.
You may want to sit down for this. I think you're a mermaid.
A what?
Mermaid? Merman.
You know, I remember those trailers like they were yesterday. Like they played them all the time.
The reason the 13th Year was on here was because they would mix the trailers and they'd be like, hey, it's time for Disney Channel movies. Here's 2 great movies instead of just one. The movie opens 13 years ago. There's a man on a boat and he's fishing for what I assume are just regular fish.
He's asleep on the job, not doing a really good one.
And then there's a mermaid swimming around. I like to call her Felicia Day. I don't know about you, but through the entire movie, I was calling her Felicia Day. She's swimming around and she's got a baby.
But then she's running from the fisherman who sees her.
And he's like, it's a mermaid, it's a mermaid.
Hey, it's a mermaid.
Oh, it's a mermaid, you're beautiful.
Hey, you're beautiful.
But she thinks it's a fish at first. He's like, oh, that's a big fish.
All the writing in this and acting in this movie is so corny. It's like, oh, it's a big fish?
That thing, I could have sworn that thing is half human.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you want to run now? You know, if I didn't know better, I'd swear this fish was half human.
So she drops the baby off.
Into the boat of a lady and Uncle Joey. I never really identified the mom with anything.
What's her name? Laura? I just watched it.
I don't know. I just watched it too. I don't remember. The mom, she's not really that important.
No. She makes crappy cake, which we'll go into that.
She also wears a couch. I don't know if you noticed that she wears a couch at one point. Do you remember what they say when they find they first find the baby?
They say it in unison, right? They were like,
well, first they hear it. They're like, "What's that noise?"
Oh, honey, that's just the sound of a baby crying.
Baby? Fish? But then they go and they find the baby, right? And he picks it up and Dave Coulier is like, it's like he doesn't know what it is. He's like, it's and mom goes, it's definitely a baby. And he goes, yeah.
It's definitely a baby.
Yeah.
and then she automatically goes from oh, it's a baby to, can we keep him like it's a puppy?
Yeah, like in 2 seconds, they're like, let's name it Cody. That's my favorite name.
You call him Cody. It's my favorite name.
Okay.
They decide on it so fast. It's just like, holy crap.
I feel like I would have spent much more time being like, how did the boat baby get here?
But then what's sad is the mermaid, she comes back to get him, and then they're just carrying him off, and they've already named him.
See, I don't think she comes back to get him because she gives this look and it's not like, oh, my baby, I have to go save it. It's like she comes out of the water and she just like looks at the camera for like 10 minutes and she's just like,
That's so interesting because I totally took it as, what are you doing with my baby? Like, why did you just take my baby? Like, I was coming back for it.
I could see that, but the fact that she didn't even swim after him, she just stands there and watches.
Yeah, but what is she gonna do? Just flop up onto the shore? I mean, I don't know. 13 years later, he's working on a boat with his dad, right?
Yeah, they have a tour company. They have a boat tour company that doesn't matter.
What did you think about the old lady who was pestering Cody in the beginning?
She was like, I want some snacks.
For $5, I expect much more.
Give me the snacks. In my last tour, I had snacks.
You know, the last boat tour I was on, we had snacks.
I had snacks. Do you have snacks?
Give me the snacks.
You have snacks.
She sucks. Cody is probably the worst actor of them all.
Sorry, we're stuck. That engine's cooked.
If I miss this race, I'm cooked.
I honestly thought that Dave Coulier was what to me was more entertaining than his Joey persona.
Yeah.
Like while the old lady is yelling about snacks, he's down in the tour boot. Well, I guess tour boot. He's in the tour boot while the tour is going on.
Trying to fix it. It's broken down.
And it's just like smoking, and he asked for a fire extinguisher.
All he needs is a hammer, a fire extinguisher, a little duct tape.
Meanwhile, it's cutting back and forth between Cody stranded on the tour boat with his parents and his swim meet he's supposed to be at.
Right, so he's of course, Cody is a swimfleet, and he is late for a swimathon. So obviously he's gonna swim there because he's a mermaid, so he misses a ferry and has to swim across.
He like races the ferry and beats it, and that guy's just like, I like the scene when he swims past because it's so obvious that the ferry is like still, and he's just like.
Cody makes it in time, just in time. We're introduced to his rival in this scene, Sean. Like the announcer knows that they're arch rivals or something. Was really funny.
Oh. He's in the lead, followed closely by his teammate and arch rival, Cody Griffin.
It's interesting that his rival is also on his team. Take this versus like Alley Cat Strike versus the East and the West Appleton. Like that, there's some rivalry right there.
Because that's not what this movie about. It's really not about Sean at all. I mean, he's in the movie and he has a rival, but it's literally just so he can have a rival on his swim team.
Yeah, this is not a swim team or swim competition type movie or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a coming of age story.
Right.
Where a guy turns into a fish. It's not really about the race.
But the race is a big deal because if they win this, they go to the state finals.
And yet there's no suspense because both teammates are in the front the entire time.
Sean is setting up blistering pace. The only swimmer that can keep up with him is Cody Griffin.
I don't care if Sean wins. I don't know who Sean is. I barely know who Cody is. He's like a potato.
I like the part he's like up on the thing and everyone's looking at him. He's like, your shoes, son. Take off your shoes.
What?
Your shoes, son.
He has to take off his pants too, right? He gets into his swimsuit. Does he tear him off? I don't know how he, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how he managed to leave his shoes on.
And Sean Marshall wins by an arm's length. We're going to state.
Almost thought I had you, man.
We're introduced to Sean like pretty like straight off the bat that he's like a jerk.
Well, they're both jerks,
like,
right? Because they're both picking on Rick Moranis, who is another major. He's really the only other major character. You've got Cody and you've got Rick Moranis, aka his real name is Tuba Child.
AKA Jess.
Oh yeah, Jess. His real name is Jess.
He does look like Rick Moranis.
They literally were like, hey, let's make this kid look like Rick Moranis. What I was saying was they're both jerks, so they're both picking on him. They're like, oh, he can't swim. He can't swim or something.
Poor kid falls into the pool with his tuba.
And the coach is just like, well, could someone get that kid out of my pool?
Somebody get that kid out of my pool.
And then Cody reluctantly goes in there and saves him.
Yeah, it's not like he's some heroic character. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go save. He's just like, I guess I'll go save Rick Moranis.
When you actually watch it, it's kind of like hard to even root for Cody because Cody sucks.
I think I'm gonna make it.
Try to watch where you're going this time.
Sorry, it's just that my hat.
The scene immediately after Cody is the most popular kid in school. He lost, so why is he all of a sudden, they're like, oh, Cody Griffin's the most popular kid in school.
That's what's confusing. Sam, his love interest, is talking to her friend, and her friend says,
You are so lucky dating Cody Griffin. He is pretty sweet, isn't he? Who cares about sweet? He's the most popular guy in school, which makes you the most popular girl.
You're dating the guy that didn't win the race. You're so popular. Where are we? Cody's the most popular. He's stupid.
He's failing.
He's failing. He's a huge failure. Cody is just a big failure. But then he gets paired with Rick Moranis for a science project.
Just wait. Hey, partner.
Thanks for saving my life yesterday.
When they look behind him and it's a shot of Rick Moranis and they do this tuba sound effect that really made me laugh. They turn around and it's just like boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Like it's reminding you, tuba kid.
Tuba child. Remember the tuba child. Now we start a trend. Which is Cody being thirsty.
He's getting some water. Rick Moranis is talking to him. He's like, let's get together tomorrow.
Tomorrow's kind of a big day for me.
Oh. What are you doing?
It's my birthday. You can come by if you want.
And then he does come by, and then they laugh at him, right?
Hey, Cody.
What's Thunder doing here?
I told him he could come, but I didn't actually think he'd show up.
Oh, yo, we gotta talk about the birthday. I totally forgot about this rewatching it. But when Sam and Cody are together, and Sam's giving him
The gift? the best
gift.
birthday gift?
Happy birthday, Cody.
A picture of herself. Just her.
This is the only thing we know about their relationship, is that she gives him framed pictures of her. It gets even better because he gets a little kiss action.
Wow.
There's a spark there, a literal spark.
He electrocutes her with his fish lips. And then she's like, maybe you can kiss me next year.
We could try again.
Maybe on your next birthday.
Hold up. You gotta show the part where Dave Coulier is eating the cake and he's like, oh.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Because the mom makes the crappiest cake in the world. Apparently it sucks because everyone's like, they're like, ugh. And then she's like, she loves it. And then the dad is pretending to love it. And he goes, whoa.
Rick Moranis also gave him a gift, which was a framed picture of himself. It was a copy of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea because Cody's a mermaid. So he starts dreaming about swimming in the water and a buoy. He wakes up, and then we have a great scene where Cody is thirsty.
Am I the only sane one in this house?
Okay, and then I have on my notes that Rick and Cody go on their first date. I think the true romantic arc of this movie is Rick and Cody, so I consider this their first date. They are looking at tide pools, which sounds terrible.
Miss Nelson was talking about this in biology. Tide pool is sort of like an ecosystem.
An ecosystem. Exactly.
You know a lot about this stuff, huh?
Nerds don't really have friends. We have hobbies.
Cody wants Rick to tutor him in biology, and Rick wants Cody to teach him how to swim. He's into biology. He's like, I love biology. I love to look at tide pools, but he can't swim.
Deal.
Whoa! I've never seen anything like that before. Well, I have, but on frogs and lizards and stuff.
There's not a lot I remember about this movie, because there's not a lot that happens, but the scales on the hands I remember pretty vividly because it was kind of freaky.
He starts hitting that fish puberty pretty hard.
Yeah, he just fish puberty comes out of nowhere. It's just like, bam, you're becoming a fish. Rick is like totally into it. He's like, whoa, cool. So Mermaid Boat Man is Rick's dad, the guy who saw the mermaid at the very beginning of the movie.
Oh, this is Cody Griffin. He's a friend from school, Dad.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the movie, he's progressively getting more suspicious of Cody, who has already turned around his entire academic career after, like, one hangout by a puddle.
Good work, Cody. You might just make it out of here alive.
It's easy to see why he's so popular, because he's Mr. Perfect, I guess.
And you know what else he is? He's very thirsty.
I saw Kristen Stewart in the credits. In that scene, in the water fountain scene, and I was like, wait a second, is that for real?
Mom, you don't get it. I don't feel sick. I'm always thirsty.
That's when he reveals it to his parents. He's like, I'm turning into a fish. He doesn't know it at the time, but he's like, getting scales, I'm thirsty all the time.
Well, why don't we just make sure? Let's have Dr. Schwartz come over and take a look, okay?
What? You said the D word. No, see, no doctor lays a hand on my baby.
They're into natural medicine, I guess. It seems like it's implied that the mom is the one that's into the natural medicine. But then when Cody Spider-Mans his way up onto the ceiling, they're immediately like, oh, let's go to the doctor.
Call the doctor.
You said the D word.
And of course, you can probably guess, the doctor's diagnosis is
Puberty! Can you believe it? Everybody else in the world just gets hairier, but no, not me.
And this entire movie is an attempt to make a story about puberty, I think.
It's totally about puberty.
But instead of like imparting, I think, like values for children that will be going through similar things, he turns into a fish.
But you have to think about the audience of those who are actually watching this, who may be abandoned mer people on the earth, so that they know what to deal with, what to expect.
All right, okay, for the abandoned mer people that have yet to hit 13 and turn into a fish, I can see that I didn't take their emotions into
There are probably
account.
some of them watching right now,
I'm so sorry,
being
mer
like, what is going on
so
with
sorry,
me?
mer people.
Puberty! Can you believe it?
He's fine with that diagnosis. Everyone's like, well, he's kind of fine.
No, he's not fine at all. He's just like, puberty.
He accepts it though. He's like, puberty, most kids get this, but I get this?
Jess! Whoa!
Cody is teaching Rick how to swim.
Teaching is a loose.
Teaching him how to swim. He put him in an inner tube and floaties and then threw him in the shallow end.
He's like doing this. I can't swim. And then much later on, he has 2 inner tubes and like 3 water wings per arm. It should be the opposite, right? Because it's almost like he's getting worse at swimming.
Maybe I can help. I haven't gone through puberty yet, but I'm still a pretty brilliant guy.
Cody and Rick decide that they need to figure out what's wrong with Cody. We've known what's wrong with Cody since the opening scene. What's going on? I don't know what's happening. And it's just like, you're a merman. You're a merman. You're a merman. It's on the box. I see it right here on the box that you're a merman. They hold hands and her hair stands up, right?
That's
they
a
waste
legendary
time.
scene.
The electric kiss was kind of a waste time. Cody's always thirsty. He can walk on the walls. It's like he gets all these superpowers that never actually matter.
I've always taken this movie at face value and not kind of like in a revision way, but it would be way more interesting if this had a whole like ET twist, where there are people who are trying to actually abduct Cody while Cody was discovering the powers and then using them. But you have to agree that the best scene in the whole movie is when he's holding the light bulb.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
making the light bulb.
Use the force, Cody.
As a kid, I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's all I do.
That scene needed to come back. It never comes back. He needed to be in like, he's getting chased by the boatman, right? The boatman is like, I got this mermaid kid, I'm gonna get him. Dark warehouse, he's cornered. He hears him, he's closing in, I'm gonna get you. Or what does the guy sound like? He goes like, mermaid, you're beautiful, I'm gonna get you. He sees a light bulb. Picks up the light bulb. Lights up so he can see his face. Smashes the light bulb in Boatman's face. And makes it, yeah, it's just blood everywhere. Ugh. And that would have been a really great Disney Channel movie, I think. We should talk about the 13th year. Let's get to the only time they actually drop any kind of relevant information that we don't already know. Rick's dad catches him looking at all of his mermaid stuff because he's a crazy mermaid man and he's got mermaid stuff everywhere.
Young mer people can walk amongst humans. Their biological makeup is such that their aquatic physiology only manifests itself in the 13th year of life.
It's one theory,
It's a theory, and it's the only theory we're ever given, so it's the truth, basically.
When a mermaid reaches her 13th year, the fish half starts taking over the human half.
And he says that he saw his mermaid 13 years ago, so lo and behold, the mermaid is actually Cody's mom, which is a big surprise because it's not like the opening scene was all about that.
I had no idea. But then once his parents put it together and everyone's on board that he's a mermaid, they pretty much ground him from the water.
But that's when they tell him, you were found on a boat by mysterious circumstances. Nobody knows where you're from.
So you were in the middle of the ocean and somebody just put me on your boat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the state championships are coming up, so he has to be in the water. And he's a merman, he needs to be there.
He's super thirsty. He's thirsty for the win, and he's just thirsty.
Can I get a drink of water?
So Cody keeps having mermaid dreams. He's swimming in the mermaid dream, and then he decides
to indulge. He recreates those mermaid dreams.
He's like, I know where a buoy is, the one buoy in the world. I know where that one buoy is. So that's where he goes.
That's a bad idea.
And he swims on out there, and Mom is there, and she's creeping behind the buoy. She's like, is this when he has his dramatic swimming scene where he's doing like twists and flips underwater and it looks really bad?
Oh God, yeah. And he does he does like what I call the Harry Potter ascendio, where he just like,
oh yeah, this is when he shoots out of the water. Yahoo!
Yeah!
This is right after he's like, I don't see the scales, I must be getting better.
Maybe I'm getting better.
And then he rockets out of the water, which would be a clear sign to me that I was not getting better. I'd be like, wow, I couldn't do that before. That should still concern me.
Then he sees out in the distance Courtney Draper coming, and he's like, crap.
What are you doing?
Oh, nothing much, just kind of sitting and looking.
Can I sit and look too?
No.
Let's go for a swim. No! You've been a real case, Cody Griffin.
You know, you've been a real case lately, Cody Griffin. What is with you?
Yeah, she gets really mad.
They're fighting just like that.
Yeah, and then he's like, something's going on, I can't tell you about it. She's like, you should be able to tell me anything.
You should be able to tell me anything.
We've been dating for at least a day. You should be able to tell me anything. I gave you a picture of myself.
If I was in that situation, she's like, you could tell me anything. I'd be like, all right, Sam. Explain this.
What if her dad is a mermaid hunter?
That would make for a much more interesting story.
It would be. What if he was a mermaid in a town full of mermaid hunters? I sure hope I don't fall through the floor.
So he sneaks off to the state championship.
And everyone's telling him not to race. Like, even Rick is like, hey, don't race. You're gonna end up on Jerry Springer in a tank.
Picture yourself floating in a tank on the Jerry Springer show. Come on, Cody, be smart about this.
And Cody's response is, well, I'll swim so fast they won't be able to tell I'm a mermaid.
But what's so funny, back in the day, you know, I was like, yo, he swims so fast, he's a merman, but he wins by like point something seconds.
1.75. I thought the exact same thing, because this is right after he swims fast enough to launch himself into fucking space.
To the moon.
And he only beats his arch rival by barely over a second. Everyone's like, oh my God, he's going so fast. Coach is checking all his watches. He's like, wow, really? It just looks like any other swim race. Like the most recent Olympics had a more dramatic swim race. Someone was like 3 body lengths out away from everyone else. That's when you're like, oh my God, that person can really swim. Not you win by a second. Like everybody's record, swimming record should be demolished by a mer person. He wins and he's doing the stupidest face, fakest celebration I've ever seen. He's like,
yeah.
He's just like, I've got fins, check out my fins.
Meanwhile, that's when dude is going.
He's like creeping on him. He's like,
look at that kid, look at that swimmer's body, oh my God.
And then Rick Moranis steps in front of the camera and he's like, hey, Dad. Yeah. What are you doing? Why are you looking at my friend with binoculars, Dad?
Yeah, and then he goes.
Somehow that blows up the scoreboard and does not electrocute the other children in the pool.
All them kids should have been dead.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing he's done with his mermaid power. He at least made something explode. But of course it makes absolutely no sense because he also should have murdered an entire pool of children in the process. But after that, he runs away.
Sean's not happy.
I don't know what your story is, Cody. But I'm gonna find out. And when I do, you're done for.
The climbing up the ceiling effect, that's really cool effect. I'd rather the light bulb one, again with the in the face.
And then later on that next day, he was like, what are you? You were taking steroids or something?
Yeah.
How'd you do it, Cody? Steroids, pills? We'd all like to know.
I would like to take some fish steroids. Who's gonna...
I feel like that might shrink me. I don't want to be like a tiny fish man.
If it makes me rocket into the air from the water, then I'm gonna take fish steroids.
Yeah! Taking fish steroids. And you still can't even eat fish food. He tries to eat fish food at one point.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
He's like, I'm gonna eat this fish food, but it's not good. So he's like, he's fishy, but he's not that fishy. I don't know.
I guess cheating's the only way you can beat me, loser.
Then he starts fighting them.
Yeah, then they throw down. They grapple a little bit. They're like,
I'm gonna fight you.
Cody's still like, oh, I gotta swim to the buoy. So he swims to the buoy again at night. And he swims towards a whale, which I thought was weird. He's swimming down in the water and he sees a light. So I don't know if mermaids make whale noises, if mermaids are friends with whales. We didn't even talk about the point that he can control fish. We totally skipped over the part where he's like, jump. Hey, you jump.
You jump.
And that never comes back again. He finally sees Felicia Day and they're gonna touch glowy hands. They're gonna be like, oh, my glowy hand, my mermaid glowy hand. But he's broken up by Mermaid Boatman, who I guess is just stalking Cody at this point, which makes sense because he saw that he was a merman. And then that's not the end. I thought that was the last day, but there's another day.
There is another day? What? What happens on
Yeah, because in the morning...
Morning, Dad! What's that net for?
Well, mermaids, Jess! This time I'm gonna have proof.
They try and frame him like an evil villain, but he's not out there, I'm gonna go harpoon me a fish boy or something. He's got a net. He obviously just wants to capture the mermaid to be like, hey, everybody, I told you. I'm not saying that you should go capture mermaids if you find them, but if you're going to capture one, I mean, at least he's not trying to shoot it and eat it. He could have been like, I just really want to taste some mermaid meat or something.
I just gotta eat me a mermaid, Jess.
I want a good mermaid fillet, that's all I want.
I'm gonna fry that mermaid up and just serve it with some taters, Jess.
He's gonna get it served to him at a restaurant and he's gonna go, you're beautiful! Before he takes a bite. But now it's the end. The climax is coming. All the pieces are finally in place. Everyone finally knows he's a mermaid, which we've known the entire movie. He is at, of course, the cove. He's at the ocean. He's just hanging out. Sam, again, randomly shows up.
Cody, what are you doing? Cody, what are you...
He's like, that's my mom. Because it's his mom.
Cody, what's wrong? What happened?
Fish puberty is really ramping up, and he's like, my fish organs.
Go get my mom and dad. Hurry.
That's when Mermaid Dad strikes.
Sam?
He kidnaps Cody because he's hurt or because he's gonna use him as bait.
Oh, his fish, his legs turn into fins at that point.
What's happening to me?
I love it. His foot turns into a fin and he goes, what's happening to me? Even after this entire movie, he's like, I'm a mermaid.
Merman.
I also like how Cody, when he's in that boat and he's squirming, and then he's like, I need water. He's like, here, Cody, and just sprinkles the littlest bit. Here, that'll help.
This should help.
Yeah, it's not even like a big like splash water. It's almost like a sensual, I'm gonna pour water slowly and check out your mermaid body as I do it.
Just a little bit more. No! It's a trap! Get back! Get out! It's a trap! Get back!
He captures Felicia Day.
Yes, they're beautiful!
And then who comes to the rescue?
Who magically knows how to swim after his intense inner tube training?
Hey, I'm not dead! I can swim! I'm swimming!
I can swim. He literally says it. He's like, oh, I can swim. I didn't know I could swim. But now that the script calls for it, here I go. He goes down and he frees the mom. And then the mom just bails because Rick's foot gets tangled in the net and he starts getting dragged down. This is immediately after he saves Felicia Day's life. She just bails. So she's just like Cody. She's just like a little turd.
She's a fish, you know. When you save a fish, it's gonna swim out.
You can't expect a fish to repay a favor, I guess. I don't know. I've never done a favor for a fish, I don't think. So.
Yes! Yes!
But then his true love dives through, saves his life. We skipped over the part, there's a part where they share a romantic scene on the beach that was really gonna seal my romance theory.
Why am I home?
Because you're a good guy. That's why. Don't know how I'd get through this without you.
Oh, shucks, go and let me do.
No!
Oh no, mermaid attack.
Okay, Jess. This won't hurt a bit.
Jess, thank goodness you're okay.
But he saves Rick, and so everyone is okay with mermaids now.
Everyone's okay, and then the dad doesn't care about the mermaid anymore.
Everything you said about their mermaids, Dad, it was all true.
That doesn't matter.
But then she pops out and she gives Mom a loving look. She's like, I interpreted that as telepathy because she says, after that, Mom says,
You have to go with her, but it won't be forever. She promises to have you back before school starts.
which also doesn't make sense because he's gonna be a merman. So how the fuck is he gonna go to school? No one's gonna let a merman on the swim team. They're gonna be like, that's cheating. The ending scene literally makes no sense.
No, that's like the worst. It's the worst build-up.
The parents they're able to let go of their child right there. Mom comes out of nowhere within a few minutes. They're like, okay, you can go. It seems very vague on whether or not he is coming back. It doesn't make any sense, but the parents sure say bye, and everyone's like, well, tell me what you see when you get back. Tell me all the stuff you saw.
Courtney Draper is like, you better not cheat on me with any mer people.
I'm gonna miss you, Cody. Promise me you won't fall for any mer girls while you're gone.
They all really seem like he's gonna come back and just be a human again, and everything's gonna be fine after he goes with his mom and learns about fish puberty. That he's just gonna be able to come back and be fine.
Stop it! Stop, people. No more construction.
Why do mer people have to communicate telepathically? They have mouths. Why didn't she just say, hey, I'll bring him back? Why was she like, an epilogue would have really cleared it up. If they had said,
yeah,
Cody never came home. Cody swam off with his fish mom and lived a great fish life, being a fish.
That would have been great. As a non-mer person, it's very hard to find any sort of education value. If I was a mer person, I'd be like, well, now I know why my body's going through all these changes.
It's not as bad as it seems.
Cody, you're a fish!
Okay, so it's worse than it seems. But I really need you now.
God, wouldn't you hate to live in the water?
I mean, I wouldn't mind living sometimes in the water. I don't know. I've never lived in the water.
No, sir. No.
I guess even if the world was exactly like it is, just underwater, it'd be exactly the same except I'm swimming in everybody's poop. Right?
Yeah.
Why didn't he tell the fish to save his drowning friend? Why didn't the mer person have the fish come save her? Because she could talk to fish.
I think what we've learned is that it's important to stay hydrated.
Yeah. If you're going through puberty, be sure to just drink a lot of water, because you never know if you might be turning into a fish. Did you listen to the credits theme at all?
I did listen to some of the credits.
In the 13th year.
Wait, whoa, that was not on the version I listened to. Hold on, can I play it really quick? Oh, it died! Ah!
Just pretend that you heard the terrible song. You can listen to it later. I promise it's very terrible.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, what is this? It's so bad. It's terrible.
I would sum this movie up as boring. It introduced some interesting things with the fish powers, but really it's just about a guy wandering around, competing in a swim competition, and then swimming into the ocean.
And drinking a lot of freaking water.
Drinking a lot of water. He drinks water, and then when he's done, he's just drinking water because he's so thirsty, Luke. He's drinking water. He's turned into a mermaid. Did you know the mermaids are so...
Are mermaids thirsty? Do fish drink a lot of water?
When you start developing gills.
Now, if he was going around breathing water, that would have been something. Who would you recommend the 13th Year to? I would not recommend it to anybody.
No.
I feel like watching this along with another person wouldn't have even made it that much more entertaining because there's not a lot. It's just so boring.
I think you think it's more boring than I thought it was because I remember watching it so many times. There is a lot of nostalgic value. When I was a kiddo watching the 13th Year, I always loved it. The 13th Year was always like a DCOM when it came on that I sat through and I was like, yo, the 13th Year, let's go. It's not at the level of like Brink or even Steven's movie or Smart House. I'd put Smart House up there. I like Smart House a lot. But it's also not at the level of like Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off or something.
That's fair. I think the reason I didn't have that, because I remember watching it all the time. I remember seeing the trailers, but I don't remember anything about it other than that I watched it. So I had nostalgia for the bits I recognized in the trailer. Merman.
Mermaid? Merman.
The other stuff was like, I was remembering it as I watched, but it wasn't like, oh, this is fun. It was like, oh, does anything happen in this movie? I can't remember. I sure hope something happens. And then nothing really happened. Mermaid Boatman had the most satisfying story arc. He saw a mermaid 13 years ago. Everyone thought he was crazy for 13 years. And then he saw it. He got another mermaid, other people saw it, and he was okay with letting them go because they saved his child. He went full circle. He had the best arc of everybody.
He's really the hero of it all. I mean, he was...
I don't know that I would go that far. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little look at the 13th Year. It's a bit different video style than I've done in the past. I don't even know how I'm gonna edit it as I'm sitting here talking to the camera.
If you like Ian stuff, you should check out my Goosebumps video.
Goosebumps video is a good one. Also check out the Harry Potter RP, because I'll link two things.
I'm trying to take a page from my good friend Ian's book and just do whatever that pops into my head, regardless of the time. And I'm just going for it. So check out those videos.
Thanks so much for watching. I'm assuming this is going to be a fairly long video. Thanks for watching this point. Let me know what you think. Go check out Luke. And I'll be back soon with more videos over other things. And hopefully they'll be good. Bye, Luke.
Bye, thanks for having me on.
You said the D word.
I know.